most humble pranams and salutations at the lotus feet of Bhagwan Baba. I thank him for giving me this opportunity to speak about my journey with him. Now, first of all, I would like to talk how I got introduced into the fold. Actually, in 1978, Baba came to Srinagar. I am a Kashmiri, born and brought up in Kashmir. He came in 1978 to Srinagar, and everyone, Srinagar is a small place, and everyone was very particular to have his darshan. My grandfather, he was a very spiritually elevated man. He and my parents pressed upon me that we must go and have his darshan, and he was probably staying at Mr. Malhotra's house. So they were very particular that I must go and attend it. I declined. I said, no, I'm not going. I don't believe in any Baba and I don't want to go. Fine. Then in 1980, I read that book, Baba, the Man of Miracles by Howard Murphy. For some time, I was pretty convinced. But later, I again drifted away. Probably that was not the time for me to get into the fold. Now, actually, I had absolutely no idea about spirituality, which actually connotes agonizing and intense yearning for him and undergoing suffering and distress in his quest. I had no idea about it. I was pretty young. And then in any case, I think I was not destined to get into the fold. Now, I was a critic of Baba. So just because I was from a scientific background, so I would, since I said that I didn't know anything about spirituality, so I would reason out everything on his miracles, right? So it was this thing that got into my mind that matter can neither be created nor destroyed. The law of indestructibility of matter. So I was just, thinking that how can he create? It is just, some trickery. Fine. So I was a worst critic. Wherever there was a discussion on this, I would just jump in and start criticizing it. Then I didn't know, there is something which transcends science. And later I came to know and I could understand it is Baba, he transcends science. There is something beyond science where, you just lose your sense of reasoning and power of reasoning is absolutely lost. So it happened, the first milestone was 13th of March, 1999. One of my aunts, who is an ardent devotee of Shirdi Sai Baba, she is a journalist, she phoned me and she said, see, Puttaparthi Baba has come and let's go and have his darshan. I said, I'm not interested. I don't want to go. And moreover, I'm busy. She insisted. She said, we must go. I said, no, I don't want to go. And what happened is, in the meantime, my husband's officer's wife, she was admitted in AIIMS in the cardiology department. And just because I had helped her, so I went to her place just to check how her health was. And this lady came to me and she tells me, पुट्टपर्ती बाबा आए हैं, मेरे पास कुछ पास हैं, आप ले लीजिए और आप जाके उनको देख लीजिए, दर्शन करिए. I said, I don't believe in पुट्टपर्ती बाबा, so I don't need these tickets. She said, क्या फर्क पड़ता है, यहाँ पास में है, आप चले जाइए. I said, no, I don't want to go. मेरे पास टाइम नहीं है. She said, okay. And after some time, I insisted that I don't want those passes. But she said, after some time, she again comes to me and she says, ye aap pass rakh lijiye. So I thought, now that she is insisting, I'm not going. Might as well keep the pass. How does it matter? So I kept the pass. Now my aunt is phoning me and she is saying, बहुत रश है, हम लोग कैसे मिलेंगे? I tried to contact so many people, पर मुझे कोई मिल नहीं रहा है. I said, okay, fine, ठीक है. I didn't tell her that I have the passes because I had no intention of going. So, she was desperate. She kept on phoning me from time to time. Later, I realized, poor thing, usko bahut man hai jaane ka, to might as well, okay, I'll tell her. Now, I will not tell her that I had the passes. I said, I'll see if I can arrange something for you. Then, finally, I told her, yes, I have managed some 2 passes. Let us go to Rai School. She said, okay. Now, I told her, please come early so that we can get entry into Rai School. She lived, at that time, we used to live in Lodi Road, and she lives in Safdarjung NK. She came, I fixed up 5 o'clock with her, and madam came at 7:30. So I said, now where are we going? How can we have darshan? So I said, fine. No, they said, no, we will still try. Okay, fine. Her husband dropped us in his car in Rai School. Rai School was full. They said, no entry. सब कुछ ओवर हो गया, आप जाके वहां जाइए, नेहरू स्टेडियम. I told her, now let us go home. क्या करना है नेहरू स्टेडियम जाके? सर नहीं जाएंगे. And imagine, bare feet. We had left our chappals in the car, and we went bare feet to from Rai School to Nehru Stadium. We went there. There I sat. I was disinterested. After some time, they said, "Oh, Baba has come." So I also, I was just trying to see who has come. There was a black car, and all I could see was an orange spot. I couldn't see anything else, and neither was I interested. I said, okay, fine now, okay, okay. Then he climbed up the stage was set up there. He climbed up the stairs, and he was on the stage, and he blessed. Okay, and then Aarti was placed. The Aarti was sung. Fine. Okay, fine. It's over. I reached home. Now at home, I don't know, within this half an hour, something happened to me, and I told my husband, ये इनका लेक्चर भी था, वो कब है? तो he said, तुमको क्या करना है लेक्चर देख के, तुम तो इंटरेस्टेड भी नहीं हो. मैंने कहा हाँ ठीक है. I had night duty on that day. It was Saturday. I went for night duty. रात को मैं पूरा सोच ही रही हूँ नाइट ड्यूटी में, and at 4 o'clock I went to the washroom. वॉशरूम जाते जाते मेरे को लगा मेरे साथ साथ बाबा चल रहे हैं. तो there was, I was stirred from inside. ये क्या हो रहा है? I came home, and I was stirred. There was some churning inside me. Now what to do? 2-3 दिन ऐसे ही. हाँ, इतने में मैंने I just found that न्यूज़पेपर में उनकी एक कलर फोटोग्राफ आई थी. अब मेरे पास कोई फोटोग्राफ है नहीं. I just cut that photograph and kept it on my, on my table next to my bed. And I kept on looking at that photo. And the moment I looked at that photo, मेरे को tears would roll. तो क्या हो रहा है? I was very disturbed. I got disturbed for 3-4 days, very badly disturbed. Then and in the meantime, I came to know कि ये science center में ये लोग भजन start कर रहे हैं. So I kept on going to science center. वहां पे भजन अप्रैल में शुरू होगा. I went there. कोई मुझे मिलेगा तो I talk to somebody, भाई यहाँ पर कैसे हो रहा है, क्या कर रहे हो आप लोग? कोई नहीं मिला मुझे. 2-3 दिन चक्कर मैंने काटे, and finally one day और मैं गई. I was desperate. That fellow told, the guard was there. He came out and he said, "Madam, आप सुबह शाम क्यों आती है?" I said, मुझे एक बाबा की फोटो चाहिए. तो he picked up, अपने पॉकेट में से एक छोटी सी फोटो निकाल के उन्होंने मुझे दे दी. So I went home. I talked to my aunt now because I didn't know what to do. There was churning. I was very, very disturbed. Then she said, "You install his photograph and एक तुम दिया जलाओ और एक अगरबत्ती जलाओ." I said, "Okay, fine." So हमारे घर में जो पूजा की जगह है वहां मैंने एक दिया जलाया. I set up a place अलग से, apart from that place. So I set up a place. वहां पर मैंने दिया जलाया, बाबा की फोटो रखी, and अगरबत्ती जलाई. So it stabilized. Okay. Then after some time, I had this deep, intense yearning to see his face. I wanted to see his face. So now bhajan started at science center. I started going to science center regularly bhajans के लिए. So in the meantime, मुझे एक आध फोटो मिल भी गई. Then one day I got a dream रात को where बाबा ने पूरा, I saw बाबा, and then I saw his face. बिल्कुल. जब मैंने उनकी फेस देखी, I saw even the mole. Till that day, I didn't know that he had a mole here. So I saw him, and he tells me, देख ले मुझे अच्छे से देख लो, देख लिया आप मेरे को. And then he tells me, जो तुम फूल मुझे रोज मेरे चरणों में लगाती हो, वो मैं सब जमा करके रख रहा हूँ. No, this was a very good experience. It left a lasting impression on me. I felt very, very good. And this had, there was a flood of love and compassion that I could feel. Uske baad, in 2000, I went for seva. I told a very senior devotee that I want to see him. That is my endeavor. I want to see him. That's all. So she managed. She said, "We will see aapki duty kahan laga lenge," and they put me in discipline duty. So line banao, वो सब करो. तो during line बनाना में I had very beautiful darshans, very blissful darshans. You know, the power of reasoning, absolutely. It just abandoned me. My tongue failed me, and the mind stopped to function. So I was very, very happy. ये सब सेवा करके मैं वापस आई. हाँ, उस दिन उससे पहले जिस दिन सेवा दल की सेवा दल के दर्शन थे, सेवा दल में मैं बैठी. Luckily, I got line 1 and he came. कोई 2-4 फुट की डिस्टेंस से he looked at me, he gazed into my eyes very intensely, and he came and stood in front of me. Fine, but I didn't have courage to touch his feet or ask for Path Namaskar, because from that day they had stopped Path Namaskar. I didn't do anything. Then I reached home and my husband says, who is not a devotee, who is not a believer, he says, जिस दिन तुमने दर्शन लिए, उस दिन रात को Baba, I had a vision. I said, what vision? He said, Baba came in my dream. I got up and I touched his feet. And when I realized it is a dream, no, I was standing. I was not sleeping. I was standing. मैं बेड से उठ के नीचे खड़ा था और मैं झुका हुआ था. I found myself झुका हुआ and Baba disappeared. So that is it, right? So this is how it started. And then I used to get many dreams. Once I got a dream and he tells me, jaldi jaldi बताओ तुम्हें क्या चाहिए. तो naturally common mortal, I was pretty young, समझ नहीं आता था. तो मुझे थोड़ा बहुत जो लगता था problem, so I told him, Baba, this and this. First of all, I got aghast, मैं क्या बोलूं. तो 2 चीज तो मैंने बोल दी. And then you know what he said? He said, widen your horizon and follow my teachings. There I could understand that one doesn't have to ask for worldly favors, worldly enjoyment, materialistic things one doesn't have to ask. He said, widen your horizon and follow my teachings. Fine. So that is it. Then my father was suffering from some life-threatening disease. Once he was very sick. So we had admitted him in the hospital. And what happened on that day is he was in coma. My mother was very perturbed. I was very perturbed. We were in the high dependency unit. Both of us were with him and he was in coma. Then suddenly रात को हम थोड़ा सा आंख लगी थी, तो रात को 4 बजे के करीब suddenly I woke up and मेरे को वो बहुत अच्छी fragrance, very sweet fragrance left and right लगी. तो I told my mother, मम्मी, जैसे वहां पर बाबा के जहां जब हम जाते हैं वहां जैसे मुझे अच्छा सा ये लग रहा है, वैसी स्मेल मुझे यहाँ भी आई. मुझे लगता है बाबा यहाँ आए हैं and he'll be okay. You don't worry. He'll come out of coma. She said, okay, fine. That's all right. And after some days, he came out of coma. And you know what he tells? He was a non-believer. He tells me, ये पुट्टपट्टी वाले बाबा आए थे. I said, कहाँ आए थे? आपने क्या देखा? पुट्टपट्टी वाले बाबा आए थे. I am telling you, please believe me. He took me to a judge and told the judge, he does a lot of social service. My father was a professor and he had a hand in establishing many educational institutions. He does a lot of social work. So, inko chhod do ab. This was his near-death experience. Okay. Then after some time, after 6 or 7 months, I mean, at that moment, he got well. And after some months, he passed away. And that was unfortunately 23rd of November, Baba's birthday. Baba's birthday, I was very perturbed. I couldn't understand. I couldn't make out, like, my biological father is going from this world and 23rd, what do I understand from this? So all I could make out till now is that my biological father had passed away, but my actual father is born and he is very much there. He is very much there, right? Then I would like to talk about some family trip to Prashanti Nilay. My husband is a very disciplined man. He's very methodical. He's not used to going ashrams and all. And I didn't know to what extent he had faith and all. So he said, हाँ, हम पुट्टपट्टी जाएंगे. Okay, fine. So we went, along with my son. I have one son, my husband, and me. We went. But in my heart of hearts, I was very worried. कि पता नहीं whether he will like it or not. He has never been to an ashram and I don't know faith का क्या extent है, उनको कैसा लगेगा line में रहना and all, I don't know. So I was very skeptical क्या होएगा. But to my utter surprise, वहाँ क्या हुआ, वहाँ पुट्टपट्टी में हमें हमेशा ही, very good accommodation. I always prefer to live inside the ashram, not outside. So he also said, हाँ अंदर ही रहेंगे. We always got accommodation since 2000. I have been going. Always got accommodation inside. I mean, literally VIP treatment. And to tell you one more thing, we have always been sitting in line 1, 2, or 3, and it is all because of Baba. I was mad about it. So I've always been getting line 1, 2, and 3. Then came the question of letters. Then I started doing one thing. I said I'll start going now twice to Baba. One is, I mean, they used to hold Seva. Usually that used to be in August. And because of my official engagements, I couldn't make it in August. So what I decided, I'll go in September or October and then with family in December, Christmas के time. So I would go, September में मैं अकेली जाती थी. तो अकेली जब जाती थी तो I went, एक दिन मेरे को ख्याल आया मेरे को भी चिट्ठी देना चाहिए. Then I said नहीं, अगर वो नहीं लेंगे तो I will feel very disappointed. मुझे बहुत दुख होएगा. नहीं, मैं चिट्ठी नहीं दूँ. Escape, नहीं दूँगी. Okay, fine. Then I don't know, once I was sitting in a line, I felt very, very bad after the darshan. I said, what is this? मैं चिट्ठी क्यों नहीं दे सकती हूँ? I cried a lot. And I went to my room and I thought, no, this time I'm going to give him a letter now. I didn't have paper. I didn't have paper, you know. I went to the stationery shop. I bought a, you know, a pad, a pen, when सब कुछ था. चिट्ठी एक लिख दी. And next darshan में, he came. I gave him the letter, and he, I mean, very gladly accepted it. Okay, fine. So that instilled some confidence in me. So मुझे तब तक समझ ही नहीं आ रही थी, you know, कि ये सब क्या हो रहा है. But you know, there was that attraction which would, you know, just pull me towards him. I mean, जैसे बोलते हैं ना, he's a magnet, and when he wants, he attracts you like anything. It was like that. So I started buying books, everything. Then my mother, when Baba was in physical form, my mother knew that I had been going to Puttaparthi. She never said, मुझे Puttaparthi जाना है. Never. So I also never told her कि आ जाओ, आप भी आ जाओ. Once he told me, तुम इतनी बार पुट्टापर्थी गए, you never told me, मेरे को कभी साथ नहीं लेगी. मैंने कहा आपने कभी बोला ही नहीं, and you are not a believer, तो क्या करने जाना है? She said, नहीं, I would like to go. तो मुझे लगा अब बाबा फिजिकल फॉर्म में भी नहीं है, पता नहीं उनको क्या अपील करेगा, नहीं अपील करेगा. Now that she is saying, okay, we will see when we'll go. When we booked our tickets, I just casually asked her, Mummy, you want to come? She said, हाँ, मैं आऊंगी. Okay, fine. So we, अंदर से मुझे वही डर again, पता नहीं क्या कर पाएगी, whether she'll be able to bear ashram or वो सब. Then, to my utter surprise, we got accommodation in Shanti Bhavan. Naturally, everything was sorted out. Accommodation, beautiful accommodation. No takleef for any kind. And you know, she has problem in her knees and all. Darshan and all, first class. And then after that, to tell you, she went thrice. Next year, I said, you want to come? She said, yes, I want to come. And she didn't complain even once. Ki Baba physical form, I wish I could have seen him. But she felt his presence. So that is why every time she would say, हाँ, तुमको जाना है, I will also go. Then there is, you know, whenever I have a problem, so my answer comes through messages, which we hear in after bhajans, or whenever there is any problem, either emails, I get emails from Prashanti Nilay, somewhere or the other, or in dreams, you know, he tells me. Once I had a sickness in the arm. It was a muscular pain, very, very bad. And just because I had access to all the best doctors in AIIMS, so I went from neurology, I would hop from neurology to medicine, criminology and whatnot. Best of doctors. Nobody could diagnose it. And once, you know, it went on for 3-4 months, it was excruciating pain. And what I did is that once I was so desperate, so I picked up this vibhuti and I just smeared it over my arm. And you will not believe me, after 3-4 days, 2 or 3 days, I continued, and 4th day, it is gone. And doctors could not diagnose. And finally, when they met me and they said, kya hua, kaise theek hua fi? I said, haan, theek hua bas. I didn't say what had actually cured me. And then, you know, a scientist ka, you know, our wealth is when your work gets recognized. And that is by way of your publications, books, etc. So what I would do is, in my room in AIIMS, I had kept 2-3 Baba ke photo mere table pe lage hue the. So believer to koi tha hi nahi, non-believer hi aate the kamre mein. They would be, you know, surprised. Isne yahan par bhi laga rakhe. And then whenever my publication would get accepted, they would say, हाँ ये तो होना ही था, Baba को जो बिठा के रखा है, ये सब तो होना ही था. I said, okay, fine, you also become a believer. But believer, and then when there would be discussions, I would never shy away from any discussion. There used to be a lot of criticism because I used to be surrounded by scientists. So I would tell them, look here, you don't believe in him. I don't care for that. मैं उनमें believe करती हूँ because I have had an experience, a blissful experience. So there is no problem. आप नहीं करते हैं believe, it doesn't matter. But I believe in him. So they would get surprised. ये सब क्या हो गया? ये तो पहले बहुत जबरदस्त critic थी. ये सब कैसे convert? क्या किया आपको? आपको कुछ दिया है? They would say गड़ी दिया है, interview दिया है. फिर नहीं, हमको material wealth नहीं चाहिए. हमको बहुत प्यार है उनसे. हमको वो चाहिए था जो हमें उनसे मिला. So I have been in the fold. Now the question of seva, I used to feel very bad कि मैं सेवा नहीं कर पाती. But whenever I went in December or in September, I would always go to Western Canteen and do whatever bit I could do. Seva, I would do there. And then in AIMS, see, admission and showing to doctors is a very big thing. It is a big problem there because of huge rush. So whenever anybody would ask for any help, I have never turned anybody back. And there are so many people whom I just don't know. They would come to me and say, हमको फलाने को दिखाओ, सर्जरी का डेट चाहिए, वो चाहिए. मुझे लगता था मेरे बाबा ने ये भेजा है, so ये मुझे करना है. So I would do it, squeeze in some time and just do it. So one fine morning I convinced myself, चलो मेरी सेवा तो यही है, बाबा ने भेजा है तो मैं, I'll do this only. So there is some transformation which I got in myself. There is very little anger left. Number one, I have started tolerating people. These are the things which I found in myself. Tolerating people, being very patient, and running away from criticism. I try my best not to criticize people and not being judgmental. And then I don't write script. I no longer write script for others. ऐसे करना चाहिए था, ऐसे नहीं होता है, ये सब नहीं होता है. मुझे लगता है सब इंडिविजुअल अपनी अपनी जगह ठीक है, मैं अपनी जगह हूँ. आई एम अ वर्कोहॉलिक. सो इनिशियली आई एक्सपेक्टेड मैं जब 8 घंटे बैठ सकती हूँ, अगला क्यों नहीं बैठ सकता है, उसको भी करना है. बट देन आई रियलाइज, ओके फाइन, मैं बैठ रही हूँ, वो नहीं बैठ सकता. इट डज नॉट मैटर. आई हैव टू लव हिम. ही इज अ ह्यूमन बीइंग. नो, आई डोंट हैव. सो दिस इज अ वेरी बिग ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन दैट हैपेंड इन मी. Then as I said, reasoning, absolutely, मुझे लगा साइंस की कोई जगह नहीं है. I better not think about it. और मुझे ये लगा कि I have to work on my evil karma. Evil karma, very important. Baba says in Taponam also, you have to work on your evil karma, which can be only shed by austerity, by meditation on him, meditation on and self-mortification. So that we come close to him, once we come close to him, we get a lot of love, and this can lead to spiritual and this. And I would just like to say, once Baba jab 2010 में यहाँ आए थे दिल्ली में, so I had many darshans, but I was very depressed because I had not, the face I did not like. I was feeling very sad from inside that something is wrong. He's not well. He's not smiling. ये क्या हो गया? I was very depressed. Once I was sitting in line number 1 while I was having the darshan, he just मेरे आगे से चले wheelchair पे, ऐसे ही face ऐसे ही था. And then he looked back and he smiled at me. So I said, okay, fine, this is also done. He has listened to me. क्योंकि मेरे को बहुत दुख हो रहा था, मैं उनको ऐसे देखना नहीं चाहती थी. And then in October, I went to Puttaparthi. Then he was all right. I had a beautiful darshan. I had been giving him letters. That day also, I just gave him, I had to leap. He was on the other side. So I had to slightly leap and hand over the letter. वो थोड़ा हाथ पीछे रखे. I touched his hand, and then he came just in front of me. I touched his feet, and then he went away. And then at that time, I felt, there was a lot of effulgence. And, I got just immersed in that mighty ethereal glow, and there was some superhuman aura, which is not describable, which cannot be described. The glory of that cannot be described. It is very difficult, and I pray to him all the time that your name should always dance on my tongue, and I should only meditate on you, and you should always firmly stay in my heart, so that I can just, you must lead me to spiritual environment. I just love him. Thank you very much.